You kept saying perfect tits. So, I mean, I'm gonna just have to be judged because I have happened to have, been in a boob judging contest before.
I was like, I don't know, can I flash my boobs on this podcast?
Hey everyone, this is Kendra Lust with Kendra and Julian Uncensored. Here as always, Julian Marquez, my co-host. And tonight we're going to be talking to a very, very, I don't say she's new to the game, to MMA, but bare knuckle fighter who really made some waves recently. She had a knockout, a nice combination. And at the end, she went viral with a few things. And we'll talk about that. So, just a lot going on in the fight world, and I'm excited to bring on Ty Emery. So, Julian, I remember texting you. I said, "Hey, let's have this fighter on. Her name's Ty Emery." And at that point, I don't think you had heard anything about her. And then we wait like a few minutes. Dun dun dun. Oh man! And you were like, "Wow, that's like badass." So, anything exciting that you want to ask her?
There's going to be a lot of questions that come through. I've known Ty for a while. I met her when I was in Las Vegas. She was training. She used to give us all massages. We'd pay her to do massages because she's actually an amazing masseuse as well. And then you find out a little bit more of her background. She was, a football player. I don't know which division it was, but she was like the bikini football player. And then she did MMA fights as well. And then she moved from Vegas. I moved from Vegas. And I see her around, Instagram here and there. And the next thing I know, you sent me a message saying like, "Oh my God, we got to bring on Ty, this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "What is going on?" She's like, she flashed the crowd. I'm like, "She did what?" And then I get on social media, and next thing you know, she's fighting bare knuckle, which I didn't even know this. And then after her victory, which was incredible victory, she jumps up, pulls her shirt up, shows her nips to everyone in the crowd in that section, which honestly, let's be honest, there's people that pay for that, but those people that paid for those bare knuckle tickets got a little bit more than they paid for. And now I just kind of want to know what's this going to lead her down to.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty gutsy. I absolutely loved it. I don't know. I had a feeling she might do something after her victory. I just didn't know it was going to be so brazen and bold. And I love that. So,
you had a feeling. Wait a minute. You had a feeling, or did you have a discussion? I feel you guys had some conversation. Is there some backward? Like, oh, now you got to let it go. Let it go.
We did. I first of all thought she was attractive, and she came across, I don't know if it was just a feed or whatever, and on Instagram, and we ended up connecting. I began reading a little bit about her, and I like bare knuckle, obviously. I've done some stuff with them, and I just thought it would be really cool. She had planned on taking a fight, and I am always interested in sponsoring people. Equal opportunity sponsor, so to speak. But she was pretty and talented, and I thought, that would be cool. So I decided to sponsor her, and there were some hiccups along the way as getting to the fight. But when she did, boy, oh boy, did she make headlines. So
I feel like you avoided the entire question that I asked. I feel like you avoided the entire question
I did.
I asked. And the question that we all want to know is, you alluded to the fact that you knew that she was going to do this, and this is what we want to know. Mm-hmm. This isn't like, are you saying that you gave her the suggestion to show everything out?
Absolutely not. This was all her. So pretty awesome. Best seats in the house where, the people that got that view. So anyway, hi there. Welcome. And here she is now. I was reading about you, as I got to kind of know you a little bit. So as I began reading and then this popped up, and there were more things that popped up, an electrician, a football, like a lingerie model, played football. I don't know that there's anything that you haven't done. So, so cool. So thank you for coming on today. And we're so excited to have you.
Cheers, gang. Thanks heaps for having me. And thanks for backing me, especially in something that could have gone and been taken completely the opposite way. So maybe the moons and stars aligned, or I guess maybe the universe just felt like the pure intent from where it was meant to come from. But yeah, we got lucky.
Look, in all honesty, Ty, we're excited to have you on. we enjoy the fact that you go out there and risk it and show everything. Because look, I love fighting and I love boobies. I'm pretty sure Kendra is on the same page. I think a lot of our fan base is the same page. And the last thing we're ever going to do is put someone down for showing off their body with a perfect body like yourself.
Thank you. That's good. That's good feedback.
You know, I was reading one of your interviews, and I don't recall who it was with. However, in the interview, you had stated that women in Thailand are not able to go topless. Men can go topless, and men who have fake breasts. So if they were
as long as they have their penis. So if the guy has his penis but also has fake breasts and is flashing his boobs, then that's allowed. As long as they've got their penis, then they're a man and they can do what they want.
Oh my gosh, they have a long way to go. No disrespect to the country of Thailand.
No disrespect, of course not.
Cultures or whatever floats your boat. Like I love however you choose to be in life, but I just feel like that's not fair. I don't like that double standard.
I think one thing from all of us living in a first world, we've been born with certain rights. So when you've been born with something and blessed to have, such freedom in the way that we do in our first world countries as women, when you're being put back into a third world and, they are behind and we stand there screaming like, can't you see what's happening? But they can't, because that's where they are, that's where they are in their standards, like whether it's living standards, health and food standards, electrical standards. Like I can stand in certain countries and my mind is just getting blown away. I'm in my head most of the time. I'm like, AS3000 clause. Oh my gosh, we're all going to die. Like nothing's earthed. And if that's just something not being earthed, whether it's like a chicken shop, then I'm pretty sure they're going to be definitely behind in the times when it comes into regards with women's rights, and where they're seeing that.
So how did, your team, did they know, or did anyone have an idea? I'm sure you had to have talked it over with your team or your coach or your loved ones, people, their family.
I think I definitely threw the idea out. There's maybe a small handful. One was to the owner, Nick Chapman in Thailand, just because I needed to make sure that I wouldn't be fired. And I did that in such a sly way where I do like to say a lot of crass stuff just to see if, see how people react, try and get them to feel a little, I don't know, make them feel something different. And I remember being a brat and I'm like, well, what are you going to do? You can't do nothing when I KO someone and then I flash my tits. And he's just going, that would be genius. Are you going to do that? And I was like, okay, well, that's so far safe. That sounds pretty safe to me. That sounds like someone's definitely going to enable me to be myself. And then I know that I threw it out. Man, I know that I threw it out just to kind of, I guess, hear how other women would respond. Because of course there's always going to be a Karen who's like, well, I don't want to be liberated through your amazing tits after you KO'd that girl, after having to live through every experience, going against every grain of sand that's against us in women. You're like, okay, cool, Karen. Next subject. So once I kind of threw it out with the owners, I realized I was like, man, they don't care what I do, and that's the best way to be when you're someone who's a little bit more wild or just in normal general life. Hey, I still think sometimes I'm pretty vanilla, and even in the way that I am in life, I know I can make people just feel so sexually uncomfortable with themselves, to a point where you just think, okay, flashing my boobs after winning is going to get the exact response, good or bad. It's going to make people think about something different. So I did throw it out there. Had I planned it, staged it, realized where the cameras were, to be honest, I'm glad that the cameras weren't front on, because you don't deserve that. You need to be in the crowd to see some titties,
Right. Or on your OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, or on my OnlyFans, subscribe, ding, but honestly, it couldn't have worked out better. And I think that's why the whole thing just came off beautifully, looks good, all of it just looks perfect. And that's just because it was just purely in the moment. And I think those things, they are the viral things. We can all tell when something's fake as shit now. Everything's staged, everything can be made into digital. So I think viral stuff, especially for our, meme strong people, we're going to see something if it's fake.
I like that. And I love how you've said it several times, so I'm going to have to just judge for myself, in person. Because I wasn't in the crowd. So, you kept saying perfect tits. So, I'm going to just have to be judged because I have happened to have, been in a boob judging contest before. So I'm going to have to eventually. So, but anyway, so hopefully we'll get to that.
Does that mean I need to pull my boobs out on this podcast?
I have a question for you, and I'm just cutting you guys off because before you got on this, Kendra was alluding to the fact that you guys may have talked about this, yet she just kind of pushed it aside. Now that we have you on, I know she sponsored you. She talked about that. She sponsors a lot of us. She sponsored me before, which is super amazing. But I want to know, did you guys possibly talk about doing this prior to this to help grow your brand? Because I think it was an intelligent idea. Obviously, it's safe, it's smart, but the marketing that you've gotten out of it, the push that you've gotten out of it makes you more in the opening eyes. But was Kendra behind this? I want to know, just yes or no.
Yes, but that wasn't in a marketing set. It was more in me going, hey, so I think I want to flash my tits in Liberation. What's your thoughts? And she went, I'm going to get back to you on that one. And she said, but I want you to think it, like pretty much said, like I want you to really think about it, and you need to think about your reasons why, and just kind of put the question back onto me, because for one, yes, she is a sponsor. She is in a light where, our sort of girl is a little more wild and crazy, and so for me, I more wanted to have a new sounding board and thinking, is this going to be taken the wrong way? Because at the start, I threw it out there, just like I said, I wanted to just be a brat. And then the more I started thinking about it, I was just like, hell no. The more I think about my entire life, I was the first female electrical contractor. I was the first female and the youngest thermographer in the world. And there were plenty of days where everyone was like, are you sure you can do this? And you're like, sir, I am your senior. Can you please get back to work?
Yes.
For the days that I just felt like going to the top of every work site I've ever been on and just being like, yes, I have tits. And I am your boss.
Deal with it.
The fucking boss with these amazing, perfect tits. Of course I wanted to shout that every fucking day. Like every day, it just gets old and old and old. So yeah, did I hit up Kendra 100%?
It was all her idea. I was supportive of her. I just wanted it to be her do, like hell yeah, like whatever you feel.
It's smart. It's smart that you got other people's input on it. The way you set it all up, the way you approached it, the way you executed it, everything was intelligent. And I think
Thank you.
It's one of a kind. No one's ever done this before. No one's ever approached it in the way that you approached it as well. I mean, props to Kendra for giving you the support you needed and the clarification you needed amongst yourself to be able to do this. Because if this were 10 years ago, I don't know if it would have been as great as a moment of right now. Right now, I think it's the best time to do it. I think it's the most intelligent thing to do. And like, how has everything just changed for you since that moment? Sponsorships and conversations and marketing, like what all has come from it? Positive.
Okay, I've gone from where I was down to my last $50. I messaged my manager from Ruby's and I said, hey, yo, bro, I need $50. I don't know. I'll always make up something. Like I always figure out a way to make money. And then I messaged OG. OG mentioned how Kendra had the Lust Army, and he goes, you're perfect. He's like, you're a Lust Army member. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, you're genius. I actually speak with Kendra, not ever about things like this, but just like female support, Yeah. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I got goosebumps, and I instantly knew, I was like, everything's going to be okay. I was like, I got my goosebumps. I knew everything was going to be okay. And I messaged Kendra, and honestly, at the time, I was back to eating absolute shit. Now, there's been, I've lived in the jungle, so I've lived through absolute shit while living out in Thailand. And then going through those phases, every fighter can completely resonate with me. There's times where you're eating nothing or you're sleeping on shit. Like, there isn't a good fighter out there who hasn't had to have some rough stories and cool stories, Anyway, I messaged Kendra because no gym wanted me to be working out of there. It was hard for me to find coaches. It was hard to find a gym that wanted to actually sponsor me. And it got back to me actually through a weed cafe that it was my image that kept me from, people wanting to keep me in any gyms. So of course, when you get told that it's your image, I think, man, that really hurts. Because it takes you so long to find yourself, and then as you're finding yourself, the more that you're becoming more confident in being yourself, you've got it just as loud or equally louder of people saying, that's not how we want you to be, and you need to be like this. And so obviously I messaged Kendra and told her everything, and that's also a story for her to understand where we are. Like, hey, that's not to say I want everyone to go around flashing their tits. Hey, we might have a happier world, if people are allowed to celebrate however they want. But that's not to say I want people to go around flashing. I have been flashed before, and that's not a celebration. That's a creepy guy in a park in a straitjacket. So there's like huge differences. But after talking with Kendra and just letting her know that it was more my image, the reason that was keeping me from being sponsored, of course, that's something that, Kendra feels passionate about that too. So yeah, that's really where mostly me reaching out to Kendra came along. And everything just turned around from there. I'm never going to have to worry about taking someone's cat food to feed my dog.
Yeah, let's face it.
Every day I can go to training.
Anyway.
Shit. Just like the best things, I can go buy some hot girl stuff like makeup. We haven't bought that type of stuff in a while. You don't really need that to fight. A lot of things have to go when you're trying to get to the top. And that can be quality of food, quality of sleep, where you're training, how you allow people to even talk to you because you're receiving free training. Like, there's a lot of things where you have to, beg down and start bowing, and at the same time, you still have to keep your own fire and still be true to yourself. So I think up until now, there's been a lot of times where I've kept my mouth shut, and then eventually I've just gone, you know what, fuck this shit. And then it's like, oh God, Ty's blown up again. Now I don't have to worry about that because I can just be myself in every moment and not have someone making me feel like I need to beg and put my hands up and go, am I going to get fed today? Get off my dick, bitch.
Yeah, you're giving me chills. Like, your story is, oh my gosh. Like, and this is like a snippet of what you've gone through. So, wow, holy cow. Like, this is intense and motivating. And Jesus, Lord have mercy. And Julian's sitting there quietly, but I know he has a whole bunch of questions in his head. So instead of monopolizing the mic, or not,
he's like,
I've been on that side. I know where you came from. I've been, I tore my arm out when we actually met in Vegas. My arm was torn off my body. I was having to work a 9 to 5 that was struggling. I had to make ends meet. I wasn't able to fight, wasn't able to compete. I wasn't as low as you described, but it still was. It's a struggle. It's a mental clutch.
Of course.
But like right after you got that victory, right after you got that spotlight, right after things changed immediately for you. Correct?
Immediately, correct.
Yes.
And what is it? What is it that you're gonna do now to help keep you going up and up? Because that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people, they value themselves with winning. Like if you're a winner, you win. If you lose, you're a loser. And you're not either. You're not. I mean, you are a winner. You're not a loser. But like, do you put the value of your life and who you are based upon the result?
Not the result, but how I live it. You get it how you live. And that's what I wanted to show. That's what I want to show in every moment, is that you get it how you live. And I actually live by discipline and every 2 days. So I think for me, it isn't about the winning, but the winning is like that small, like ding. The winning is in the process, and we understand that, and in the process now, like, look what I just pulled off, and I've never had one set gym all for me. I've never had literal just strict boxing coaches helping me. So I've done all of this with Javad, who's one of the Tiger Muay Thai sponsored fighters, because I didn't have coaches working with me. I had a sponsored fighter go, you need my help. And I'm like, I need your help. And he's like, let's go, So I've done all of this from people going, hey, shit, she's going to go through with this. Somebody better help her. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to fight over here. Somebody, I might drown, like, I've done all of this with nothing. So imagine what I can do with, like, more than $2,000. I think for me, like, yeah, it's going to change. I'm going to have coaches, plural. I'm going to have coaches. I'm going to have more than just Kendra to be able, I still feel at times I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I'd write this spiel to her and I can get, just enough to be like, yeah, she's right. And now I can, calculate things from here. Now I know that I can have more, access to not just people like Kendra, but other women that think like us, or other men who are on that same plane, and be able to get information that can help just better my life. Even for one, where to put this money, how to invest this money. This isn't the now. And I think, this paycheck is for today. We don't know how far that's going to go. In my eyes right now, what I've got sitting from the OnlyFans, that's me to the next fight. I just think because that's how it's always been. And even as an electrical contractor, I think that same mentality is what helped me to house out 7 homes with only the payment from 2 homes. The whole time I still had 6 homes. I've already fit them out, dug the electrical underground. I've done everything. I pre-wired the home. I've already done everything, and that still haven't even received payments. So you still like I still have to knock these homes out, and that's the same as fights. I still need to knock these homes out, but now I've just got actual paychecks coming in rather than needing to survive off the one paycheck.
Wow. That has to be like an incredible feeling, I mean, I feel like this is like your win is just a step in the right direction. Like it's going to catapult, right? Your career.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say, but you mentioned in the beginning of, kind of telling your story that it was your image that was preventing you from sponsorship. What did you mean by that? Or preventing people from...
I was told it was my OnlyFans image and my bad girl image. And I kind of thought, ooh, I'm bad. Yeah, that's nice. Oops. Okay. Serious again, Ty, because this is now hindering you. But I guess when I looked at a lot of the profiles that require someone to be a sponsored athlete, it definitely wasn't my marketing. And for sure, I've come from LFL. I'm coming from the Lingerie Football League. So, and then even before then, I was in magazines. I was before Instagram. So, like when people still ran out to buy the centerfold poster, I'm still the centerfold poster girl. So I don't know if I can ever. Yeah,
I need that issue, baby. I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
I'm such a little.
But I don't know. It was just told to me that it was my image, and when I look at my image compared to, I guess, the strict martial artist, no, we're not the same. And I don't want the martial artist, I don't want her or him to change either. But I think there's just different ways and people can market themselves and carry themselves. And honestly, like I said, I came from absolute nothing. So even when I was in the modeling world, I was still just an apprentice electrician. A female doesn't just become an electrician. Like I was trying to change my life back then. I wanted man money. I wanted man money to change my life so that I didn't have to rely on anyone. And that's the biggest fuck you to even do that back then. So I was watching Pamela Anderson and all these bunnies and with Hugh Hefner, and they were able to change their life. They came from trailer park. I'm literally from the gutter. I'm from no parent household, no one there, no one feeding us. And to see that these beautiful girls could use modeling to get out of their hometown and change their reality, that was something that also helped me back then too. So I understood that, hey, not every girl gets to be chosen to be taken away on an amazing photo shoot where everything's custom made and every person's there for you. So I even understood back then I could use the modeling to change my life and get out. So honestly, it's so nice to finally have the brains and brawn. Both masks are finally being smushed into one, because you got to be smart as a fighter.
Wow. Holy. Wow. So
absolutely
too much.
Yeah, so you were born in Australia, correct?
I was born in Australia. Yeah, in Gladstone, Central Queensland. I lived with my mum and dad till maybe I was 8 or 10. And then they just went back to the party life. My dad went somewhere, I don't know. Both of them just super abusive parents. So sorry for them for all this having to come out. Of course, made amends. Of course, it's better to not hate. I hope everyone can get to that area. It doesn't mean that I want them in my life. But yeah, I went through 2 adopted homes. So thank you to the Connollys and Darlene Wiper's family. I went through 2 adopted homes, and then put myself through high school, and then couldn't afford university or college, so that's why I got the apprenticeship. And then after the apprenticeship, I eventually got into the electrical and the thermography, and still wasn't happy, so got into the football, and that's where I went back to being absolutely broke, but realizing that's I always chase that money, but somewhere along the line I forgot to be free. And I guess now I'm just starting to put both of them together. Like, it's not bad to want money to be free. And I think it took a long time to understand that.
Wow. Very, very few times in my life have I ever been speechless, but wow, I'm just like at a loss for words. Like, okay, so you need to really start documenting and start your book, because that's next. I really think, but this woman giving me chills, makes me want to take a trip to Thailand. I really do.
Yes.
Exactly. Julian, Professor X, whatever. I would love to go. But the real question is, now, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm sure that I can't imagine having to live through that and go through what you've gone through to be here today, so
yeah, cool.
I can't imagine a lot of, I'm sure, healing and so wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So I guess, at this point now, you're with BKFC, you have a contract in Thailand, and you have now a 4-fight contract in the States, correct? Or is
correct?
Okay. So how many, I guess, what's left how many fights left in Thailand, or how are they coordinating? Are you doing them at the same time, or how is that working? I guess I'm just trying to figure out when we're going to get you here in the States.
I think, they've always still been coordinating to get me over in America for a while now, but that's why I eventually took to Nick Chapman and just decided, hey, this is the same branch. Let's get some test runs, and let's get some fights under the belt before going to America, because we all know in the fighting scheme, like, America is the platform, and America is where every top athlete and fighter is going. I think I'm going to be on the Saenchai card. The Saenchai card is in December. Now, this should be one of the biggest for BKFC, the same cross promotion that we did for the Borkau card, which is what I debuted on. The Saenchai card is going to be one of the biggest cards, just because through Asia we're televised, and then we're also through the BKFC app and throughout America. So I've been told I'm going to be on the Saenchai card, but they have already started pumping out when they'd like to see me on America, and as to whom. There's been a lot of Paige Van Zant's, but I've had Paige Van Zant's name thrown at me for the past 6 months, so who knows? I'm sure a lot of those girls are going to want to punch me in the face at the moment, and as they should.
You're fighting, you said the Saenchai card. Is Saenchai fighting on the card?
Yeah, he's a main event at the end.
Who's he fighting?
I don't know yet. They haven't released who Saenchai's fighting, but there's just been a few talks where they've started to look at a lot of the Farang who they've either fought before. So he potentially could be fighting one of my cornermen, Javad, the sponsored fighter who helped me through my fight camp. So that's great news for him and his wife. He'll be going home to her, letting her know things are going to be okay soon.
That's awesome.
That's an incredible card to be on. Regardless, you're fighting on a legend in Thailand and a legend in Muay Thai all around. And then I didn't even know that there was a different section. I literally, as we were doing this interview, I didn't realize that you have 2 different contracts and you're performing in Thailand. I thought you came to the United States to do that. So now you're going to be fighting in Thailand with the headliner, the biggest Thailand fighter to almost walk the earth. That's incredible. That's a huge like jump up from where you were 6 months ago. Like that, you have to understand, like, that's a giant, like, achievement, and it should be, right? Yeah,
it should be. I think for me, since being in Thailand, it's been awesome to learn, like, see, even you understand the history that Saenchai, has as he walks the earth. And for me, I feel like I always get to do these amazing, like, opportunities like always. And I know one day I'll look back, because I'm still learning about Muay Thai, I'm still learning about Sanchai and Borkow. I had to do a lot of Googling just so I could, understand and give the respect that's deserved. But yeah, through BKFC, we've got the main one, which is David Feldman's in America. And then they've started selling them off like, Starbucks franchises. So other countries can own their own BKFC. And but Nick Chapman's definitely earned his stripes. They've pulled him in. They're more in talks. He's just gone over and flown over to see David Feldman as well. But yeah, there's more branches. And as a BKFC fighter, you can, if you contract a BKFC, as long as it's BKFC, they just may not like the difference in money. So sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit. And I was still in this, I got to prove myself, fuck the system, fuck the world, I've got bomb tits, I don't know, like.
Absolutely. And it sounds like I don't know much about your opponent. However, you had a lot more to be fighting for, so, you're hard.
Yeah, and I think that counts, Kendra. I really think that counts. And, of course, someone can have a dark story, as most fighters do. And then, then there's another darkness and a strength around it for the people that have used that and helped them to project it into something more positive, because that takes more strength than just allowing, bad things to help us to continue to be drug abusers or do the bad things. Like, of course, everyone does drugs, whatever. I'm not saying don't do stuff, but there is a point where people are using things as an abuse to forget. And we're not meant to forget in life. We're meant to use everything to become strong. So I know, yeah. The girl that I fought, I'm sure she has some hard times. She's living in Thailand, and in the gym world, she's definitely had some hard times. I can only imagine. But when it comes down onto a life scale, and we're like gritting and bearing it, there's going to be a very, very long time until I can find someone where I feel that they even match the shit that I've had to deal with.
I cannot tell you. I'm excited to sponsor your next fight. So you just, December, you let me know. I'm all in. And I would love, I feel like there needs to be a part 2, because we promised, I think we said, we'll keep it short, 30, whatever, 50, 30, but I really would love to have you back on as a guest. I think your story has the ability to motivate and move fighters, women, just people all over the world. And this is just like the tip of the iceberg. So, so if you would like, we'd love to have you back on. But for right now, I want everybody to be able to know where to go to find you, your OnlyFans, all your socials, anything that you want to say or anything that you want to shout out before we abruptly wrap, because I want a part 2. I need a part 2.
Easy. Yeah. Always down for part 2. Easy on the how to find me, just TAI_Emery, EMERY. From there, you can easily find the OnlyFans. That's absolutely popping off right now. On the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, mostly those are my main ones, and the OnlyFans, I'm still trying to get through organically through everyone's messages on OnlyFans, since, that's a paid subscriber thing. I think that's super important. Instagram has got to be on the back burn.
Yes.
But that's where they can easily find me.
Yeah. That's awesome. And those perfect tits, as you said, my perfect boobs, and we'll be sure, absolutely, I know, to plug all of your social media, all of your social media and everything.
Boobs on this podcast?
Well, we would love it. However, we're going to make them pay for it. OnlyFans, guys, that's where you guys need to go see those perfect tatas, okay? So, oh my gosh. Well, I can't thank you enough. I know, Julian was happy to have you back on, or have you on. And I don't know. I'm just like in awe right now. Like, I'm reevaluating my own shit in my head. Okay. So thank you. So thank you so much, Ty Emery. We'll plug in her socials. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Julian, as always, for being awesome. And if you like our podcast, like and subscribe. Until then, we will see you guys soon. Have a great day.